innocent Missouri man freed after 28 years in prison, but he may not get anything for his trouble. It's a damn shame. Put up the picture for him, Max. Let me give you the story about a St. Louis man, February 14th, Lamar Johnson. Lamar Johnson's life sentence has now been overturned after serving 28 years in prison for a crime he never committed. That's thanks to the support of the circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, who filed a motion in August 2022 to have Johnson freed along with the Innocence Project. I want to pause here, keep the picture up. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Gardner, for standing with the Innocence Project, looking at their findings and doing the right thing without making him go through another bureaucratic process. Johnson was falsely accused of killing Marcus Boyd in October of 1994. Authorities say Boyd, then 25, was fatally shot on his porch by two assailants who had on a mask over an argument about drug money amounting to about $40. That's according to CBS News. Johnson, who has maintained his innocence since day one, since being arrested and 28 years later, said I never did it, says that while he was a drug dealer at the time, he did not kill the victim. Johnson's alibi at the time of the crime is this. He was with his girlfriend, Erica Barrow, at the time of the shooting. She testified during his trial that the two were actually together the entire night, except for the 5 minutes when he left to go make a drug deal. Now, come back to me for a second. He voluntarily offered this information to the court. Okay, so he's admitting to felony activity 28 years ago. And that felony activity could have still landed him in prison for a very, very long time. But it's called statements against self-interest. Those statements are allowed typically under the rules of evidence. And so it was permitted. Hey, this is a statement against self-interest. He is a drug dealer 28 years ago. That's what he was doing. There's more. She argued that there was no way that he could have gone to the scene of the crime and back to her in that short span of time. Prosecutors argued that when Johnson stepped outside, somehow he traveled 3 miles to Boyd's front porch, shot him, fled on foot, and arrived back at the apartment all in no more than 5 minutes. The original prosecutor didn't use a witness. So James Gregory Elking, the then drug addict who bought crack cocaine from Boyd on the night of his demise, saw the two gunmen. However, it was dark and the men were wearing black ski masks. Elking told the investigators then he was not certain who the shooters were. In 1995, prosecutor Dwight Warren said he knew that Elking's testimony would be iffy alone and coupled it with a jailhouse informant's testimony as the main evidence through which he was able to get a conviction. William Mock said he overheard Johnson talking about the murder with another man, Phil Campbell, while the two were in jail. Now, once again, granted, I'm not an attorney, but my law school studies have taught me that kind of hearsay evidence is a no-no. That is an opportunity for appeal right there, the fact that it was allowed in. And if he was working as an agent for the government, even more dicey as to what happened here. But when everybody is okay with the violation of rights, things like this take place. The real killers admitted to the crime, all right? Years later, another man would emerge and admit to being the accomplice that was with Campbell during Boyd's killing. James Howard, now serving life in prison for murder and other crimes after Boyd's death, testified he and Campbell planned to rob Boyd because he owed one of their associates drug money. He said he shot the victim in the head and neck while his partner shot Boyd in the side. In fact, he and Campbell, before he died, signed court affidavits admitting to the murder and emphatically stating Johnson had nothing to do with the crime. Isn't that something? After efforts from Johnson's lawyers and the Innocence Project, Johnson has now been released. However, Johnson is not eligible for state restitution. Put up his picture. Put up the one with him smiling. He is not eligible for restitution because the law in that state says if it is not tossed out because of DNA evidence, you get nothing. Johnson's release has spurred a state legislative proposal that would allow people who are found to be wrongfully convicted of crimes by any method to receive $100 for each day of post-conviction incarceration. Still not enough, but it's more than zero. He has a GoFundMe account. I'm going to give to this GoFundMe right after the show. I encourage you to do the same. The GoFundMe account is called Help Lamar Johnson After Wrongful Conviction. So beautiful brother, beautiful smile, never killed anybody. Was he on the wrong side of the law? Yes. Hell, I was too at a time in my life. They saw a black man who was easy to vilify. The reason why these things are important for everybody is because the killer that they let go in order to prosecute the man who did not do it killed other people. Who has blood on their hands? The state does. Because if they would have prosecuted the right person, more people would not have been victimized. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
Dr. Richey, Mr. Johnson's also been conditioned to accept just his freedom after nearly 3 decades.
Yeah.
And just be happy about that and flash his beautiful smile. He's been trained to believe he does not deserve any reparations, none whatsoever, because he's not worthy. And he said, I have an obligation now that I'm out to help others. I love Mr. Johnson, but I couldn't disagree more. He has given enough. The state of Missouri should be helping others because there's so many more Mr. Johnsons who were railroaded into this.
Yeah, so true. And to the lawmakers, there are some very good lawmakers who are trying to pass a law to stop this from ever happening. It never should have been law in the first place. This never should have been a law. DNA evidence dynamic should have never been part of it. But please, to the lawmakers who care about this, make the law retroactive. Make it retroactive, all right?